Good morning, folks. Thanks for joining me this Wednesday. As usual, before we begin, make sure you have your set of dumbbells. Aside from that, we're good to go. I'll start off hands on hips, just alternating backward lunge here. You know the drill. Bend the back knee, stay nice and upright. We're going to add a little overhead reach. Let's go ahead and do that now. So as you step back, straight arms come right up. Warm up the upper back, warm up the hips and those legs. Again, keep those arms nice and straight as you pull them up. Try to see if you can feel those upper back muscles contract as the arms come up, particularly along the flanks of the spine. Let's do two more here. That's one and two. Go ahead, hold a squat, and then some reverse arm circles. Try to stay nice and upright here, just like the lunges. Arms staying nice and straight. Really focus on a big circle here with the arms. Exaggerate that range of motion. Try not to twist as you're doing the shoulder flexion here. So just staying nice and forward to the torso. Nice and upright. Keep drawing the abs in. Squeeze your glutes for me a little bit. And then two more. We'll do some butt kicks. Last one here. Go ahead and get some butt kicks. Flush out those legs. Up with some high knees. Drive those knees up. Way up. Don't cheat your knees. Get them up. I know it's a little easier not to, but drive those knees up. Back to butt kicks. Again, pushing through the ball of the foot. Heel obviously not making contact with the floor. Just the ball of the foot. And then high knees again. Let's get that heart rate up. Drive them up a little higher. Let's do it again. Hands on hips, alternating backward lunge. We'll add those arms in a moment here. Again, make sure your feet are about 6 inches apart when you're stepping back. Gives you a little better base of support. So hip width or so. Let's do one more and then we'll add the arms. All right, throw those arms up. Nice straight arms here. As you bend that back knee. And keep pulling the abs in. So when your arms come up here, really focus on pulling the ab all the way into the spine. And again, make sure that you're not extending that low back and you're keeping your low back nice and neutral position here. Let's do two more, and then we'll hold that squat again. Last one. You got it. Hold the squat, reverse arm circles. Try to sink a little lower. I know you were low last time, but why not drive down an extra inch or so? And then the lower you go, squeeze your glutes a little harder. That is good. That's what you want to do. Go ahead, sink again. Nice and upright here. Head up too. It's easy to start looking down, but that'll actually pull you forward, losing some of that quality form. We don't want that. So two more, and we'll do those butt kicks. One. All right, some butt kicks. Flush out those legs. Quadricep muscles, thighs. Hopefully they were feeling that just a little bit. And they can feel it again. High knees. Drive those knees up. Way up. Higher than you think you need to. Get the knees up. Let's do one more of each, and then we're just going to get right into it. Back butt kicks. Again, through the ball of foot. Stay nice and light on your feet. High knees. Okay, we'll finish here, but we're going to hold this for about another 10 seconds or so. So get that heart rate coming up for me a little bit. A couple more seconds. And you got it. So we're going to start on our stomachs in a prone position. We have a prone shoulder press. I'm not sure if we've done this, but I know you know what a shoulder press is. So without getting the lower body involved, it is just simply a press. Now the idea here, go ahead and join me as you're pressing, is to keep your arms from falling to the floor. It's really going to focus on the upper back muscles, engaging as you're going through the movement. Now try to keep your head in a neutral position. So if you're pretty tight to your upper back, your head might actually even be on the floor. Just make sure you're in a neutral position. I'm okay with this. You don't need to be on your chin right now while doing these presses. If you're looking up, likely means the shoulders are shrugging. We don't want that. So your shoulders are still sitting down. as you're going through shoulder press. Again, it's the same mechanics as we are always working on when we do these overhead pressing movements. You just happen to be in a prone position. So if you struggle with upper thoracic extension, upper thoracic extension, this exercise might be particularly challenging for you. And I just implore you to do your best by keeping the arms off the floor, head and neck neutral position. Again, I acknowledge that this one can be pretty straining for a lot of people if they have tight neck, shoulders, upper back muscles. But again, that merits all the more reason to get good and better at these types of exercises. You are improving the function of your shoulders and neck. Even just doing shoulder presses, whether standing, and in this case, in a prone position. Again, arguably, this is a little harder. Now, I'm not holding on weights in either of you. You could use dumbbells, but chances are you'd find that to be remarkably hard. You got 15 more seconds here. Keep pressing. Might feel like a long minute, but then we're going to be in a supine position. Keep rolling. Now try to keep your wrists straight. And as you're pressing here, we do want to fully extend the arms. You got 5 more seconds. We'll talk more about that next time. Let's do one more press here. You got it. Okay, flip over onto your back. Supine position. So you're going to hold your arms in a shoulder flexed position. So that just simply means this right here as you do dual leg extensions. So flex your feet, and then your legs are going to be extending, just like so. Now try to keep your shins parallel with the floor as you go through the extensions here. That is important. And I do want you to keep your legs together, by the way. So we're not separating the legs out. You are keeping them together while doing this extension. Now the idea is to keep the back entirely nice and flat with the floor. And that's pretty tough to do because your arms are flexed behind you, which is naturally going to want to arch your low back. And double so because you're extending your legs. All this being said, continue to hold your arms, but if you really feel like your back or spine is leaving the floor, shallow up how far you reach your legs. Again, I do want you to have your legs together right now with me as we do this. We're going to go 20 more seconds. So again, focus on squeezing the inner thighs as you go through the extensions here. Really, really important. Flex the feet and just move through as much range of motion as you possibly can. Go ahead, flip over into a plank position. So we are forearm plank with an alternating leg extension. So starting in a plank, forearm plank, and alternating heel lift without externally rotating the foot as we lift. Now, if you can, I want you to keep the abs drawn in the entire time. We want to resist arching the low back as well as piking the hips. In both instances, it suggests that your abdominal muscles are slightly disengaging, hence the arch or the hip pike. You're going to focus on those abs by drawing them in and trying your best to hold that neutral spine position. By the way, if you need to drop to your knees, totally fine. You can continue to work on those alternating leg extensions from the knee even. However, if you're feeling a little more vigorous, certainly pop 2 in a full plank position as you do your heel lifts here. You got 5 more seconds. That was a quick minute. One more. And then we're already back to a supine position, alternating straight leg lifts with pointed toes. So your hands are going to be at your sides this time, and with your toes pointed. Oftentimes we are flexed, but right now I want a pointed toe as you lift the leg off the floor. Now you're going to lift as high as you can with a super straight leg. You might only get to here, and that's fine. But if you can get a little further up without having to twist through the hips or change the position of your spine, great. Get as high as you can. The goal would be to get to this perpendicular position. Now, probably something you've even picked up on, maybe you haven't picked up on, but I'm going to tell you anyways. When you point your toe, you actually turn off some of the stretch sensation of the back of the leg. So if you're in this position, you do this, you're going to feel your calf stretch and you're going to feel your hamstring stretch a little more. When you point your toe, you turn that stretch off slightly so you can actually focus a little more on the hip and hip flexor, quadricep, and get the leg a little bit more vertical or a little bit further back as you do the lifting here. So another consideration, if you're ever on your own and you're doing these leg lifts, just making a slight alteration with what you're doing at the ankle actually changes how you engage the muscles on the underside of the leg. It's a little intuitive thing, but now you know. And again, that would apply actually to every exercise. When your toes are pointed, you are turning off the back of the leg. When the foot is flexed, you are turning on the back of the leg. and vice versa. You got 15 more seconds here, and we're going to go through a second round, starting with those prone shoulder presses. And again, when we get back to the shoulder press, I'll talk about that full extension of the arm, which you already know I probably want you to do. So we'll just simply talk about that and why that is important. Let's do one more on each side here. And the last one, keep your abs drawn in. Real important. You got it. All right, so back to that prone position here. So as you're on your stomach and we're going through these shoulder presses, like I was saying, I really want you to focus on as much extension as possible. Likely, what happens is as you're doing this exercise is you're getting your arms to about here, and they just kind of stick. It's like, nope. And that's because the muscles through the rotator cuff and that upper back, that thoracic extension, which we want to continue to improve on, is just no longer releasing. The muscles are no longer lengthening, allowing the release of the arm into that full extension. Even so, I want you to work towards extending the arms, straightening the elbows, keeping the wrists straight, head, neck, neutral position as you go through the shoulder presses. I get this might be an irritating exercise for lots of folks. It's pretty normal, but lots of people have really tight head, neck, and shoulders. And you know your body. As you do these exercises, you're going to learn quite a bit more about your body's natural limitations, but also how to break through those limitations, overall improving mobility and the function of these joints. So straighten your elbows, keep your wrists straight, head, neck, neutral position. Shoulders aren't here, shoulders are down. You got just 10 more seconds here. I know it feels like a long minute, but please fully extend the arms, because those arms fully extending pulls on the upper back, it pulls on that thoracic back. Again, improving mobility in time. Go ahead, flip over onto your back here. So again, holding the arms into that full shoulder flex position. So arms are back, just like so. Squeeze your legs together, and then we are doing that dual leg extension. Again, your knees should stay together or locked together the entire time. Keep the feet flexed. We've got that pointed toe coming up, but right now, I want you to just flex the feet as we're going through here. Again, draw the abs in. So like the forearm plank, which you're going to be doing in 30 seconds or so, you want to make sure that the abs stay drawn in throughout. It's generally a pretty reoccurring theme with exercises. Pull the abs in. Pretty rare that I would say push the abs out. There are exceptions, obviously, but for the lengthening of the lumbar spine, drawing abs in tends to help with that pursuit. And lots of people have really tight low backs. And so if that's you, if you're ever in doubt with an exercise, just simply draw your abs in, because it will, in time, help to release those low back muscles if you have excessive tension back there. Keep rolling here. We got just 15 more seconds as we go through these full extensions. Keep the feet flexed to make sure the shins are parallel with the floor. You know the cues. Arms straight, because your arms are probably bent. So straighten those arms for me. Let's do one more here. Last one. Hold, yes, hold, please hold. You're still holding, and bring it back. All right, flip over to that forearm plank, alternating leg lift. Now make sure the shoulders are directly over the palms, or excuse me, over the elbow, so we're not, again, piking the hips back. This is an indication that your abdominals are disengaging. So challenge yourself, keep your butt down, don't arch your low back. That's also the disengagement of the abdominals. So again, you're in neutral position, squeezing your shoulders back and down, alternating leg lift without rotating the hips. Yes, I'm asking a lot. There are so many cues to consider. But again, just focusing on anatomical neutral as we move our leg through space. No, your leg is not moving very far. Doesn't matter. You still want to maintain neutral position through the spine, hips, and shoulders. Shoulders not here. This is not neutral. This is, again, as you do that slight leg lift. Keep drawing the abs in. We got just 10 seconds on this side. And then once again, we're going to flip over onto our back. Kind of starting things off with a bang here. Some actually fairly challenging bodyweight calisthenic exercises. And actually consider all of these hard right off the bat. Let's do one more. You got it. All right, flip over onto your back here. Point your toe this time. Real important. Just hands at sides, alternating leg lift. And as your mobility improves, particularly through the underside of the legs, this does become quite a bit easier as the hamstrings, calf muscles, etc. release, the low back releases. What will end up happening here is you feel less and less resistance to the back of the leg, and you can really just start to kind of concentrate and isolate in on the hip flexors and quadricep muscles as they engage to pull the leg up. Continue to point the toe. Get that leg as straight as you can. Now at that pointed toe, again, I want to see a straight knee. Your knee is likely doing this. It's pretty common when people lift a leg. Straighten it, okay? Get that leg straight. Point that toe with that super straight knee. And the tighter the muscles, the harder it is to extend joints. That's all joints. The tighter your muscles get, I'll repeat that. The tighter your muscles get, the harder it is to extend your joints. Spine extension, hip extension, knee extension, ankle extension. You get the idea. Elbow extension. Again, so much of what I cue is about fully extending and lengthening through the joint. Good thing about doing these types of exercises is the repeated use of it does improve the extensibility of the muscle. And again, fully lengthening the muscle and allowing you to fully extend that joint. But further than that, it also decreases muscular tension and allows for an easier, more fluid quality of movement. You know those things. Let's do one more on each side. And then we're going to grab our dumbbells. All right, you got it. So grab your dumbbells here real quick. We're on our feet. I'm going to do a little curtsy lunge, but your hands are going to be at your shoulders throughout. Keep your hips nice and forward. We know what we're doing here. So let's just dive right into it here. Make sure the toes are staying nice and forward as we're going through our lunges. And again, you're going to have that slight twist through the hips into that lead leg. Now keep your arms up. Okay, try to keep your wrists straight. It's really common for people to let the arms start to fall forward or even just kind of like rest the dumbbells on the shoulders. It's not what I want you to do. And your arms aren't here. They don't have to be here. They can be just above the shoulder. But again, wrist straight, nice and open, broad to the front of the shoulders and chest. Keep your wrists straight. I know they want to bend. Don't bend them. You got 30 seconds. And as we continue to twist here, staying nice and upright, draw the abs in. And sink nice and low. Challenge yourself. Sink low with that twist. The primary muscle that you're stretching, there's a couple of them, but one of the bigger ones is the piriformis muscle. Tailbone over the side of the trochanter of the femur. Anyway, lots of words. Just think back of the hip. That muscle is lengthening. It lengthens and releases when your hips stay neutral and you twist. If you're canting and tipping, not so much. So again, turn into that lead leg as you drop down. All right, we're going to take those dumbbells and we get an internally rotated shoulder press. These are actually analog exercises of each other. What I mean by that is what you're doing right now with your shoulders is basically exactly what you were doing with your hips and legs. So you were doing internal rotation when you were doing the curtsy lunge. Curtsy lunge is internal rotation of the hip. And right now you are doing internal rotation of the shoulder as we move through a shoulder press. Why are these analogs? Because your shoulder is a ball and socket joint, and so are your hips. And so the way the muscles function is very similar. Even though the movements seem completely different, legs versus arms, mechanically, it's pretty similar. So as you're going through the press here, make sure the shoulders sit down. Notice how my forearms are staying parallel with each other on the rise. Wrists aren't bending. And you're getting as much height as you can without the elbows separating. This is going to mitigate the stretch. This is much like you not turning into the lead hip. So again, keep the elbows together as you press up. And then bring the arms back. Let's do those curtsy lunges. We're just diving right into it here. Keep you moving. Moving quick. I like it. Twist into that lead leg. And try to keep your hips, keep holding your hands here, but try to keep your hips as level as possible. So you can see here, I'm twisting, but I'm also trying not to let this lead leg hip slide out. So even in some ways, it's like I'm trying to squeeze my inner thighs together, even though one leg is coming behind me. Continue to lunge here. We've got about 25 more seconds. It's staying nice and upright. If in doubt, pull your abs in. Your low back is going to want to arch quite a bit on this one. It's pretty normal. Why? Because the back of that hip is really stretching. Like I was saying, when that piriformis muscle, back of the hip really stretches. It pulls on the lumbar. When that happens, you're going to want to extend your lumbar. I don't want you to do that. I want you to keep a neutral position through the spine, and that way we can isolate in on that piriformis muscle stretching. Let's do one more here. And then internally rotated shoulder press. So palms facing you, press up. Think about the arms, both from palm to elbow, staying equidistant throughout. Get as much height as you can, again, without that separation. That's the primary thing that I see. A couple other things that I see, I'll show you from the side profile here. Aside from the elbow flare, heads like to come forward and shoulders like to pop up. But that's not you, because you know better. And after 12 weeks of doing this, you've seen dramatic improvement at keeping the shoulders down, dramatic improvement through the upper thoracic extension of the spine, so we can maximize our range of motion without deviating from proper form. So stay technical with me. Focus. As you get tired here, I know your elbows want to separate. Don't separate them. Keep your elbows together. You got just 10 seconds. By the way, your shoulders should be burning. If they're not, you are a mutant. Because mine are, and I'm not even lifting weights. Let's do one more. You got it. Set your dumbbells down. We're going to do a seated spinal twist. There's a couple ways of doing this. So how we're going to roll here, take your right leg, bring it in front of your left. I'm going to show you this face on. It's a little bit easier here. You can take your hand, and then we're going to simply twist to the right. So again, right leg over left. You can put the base of your right hand kind of like where your tailbone meets the floor, and then twisting. Now, it's really important here. I'm going to show you from the side. We're just doing 30 seconds on each side, so you got 10 seconds on the side left. It's really important that we're not slouching. This does not stretch that lumbar the way we want that psoas muscle. So you need to sit forward on your sit bones as you twist. Full spine twist. Let's go ahead and do the other side here. You'll see the side profile. Now, again, bringing the left over the right. Flex the right foot, by the way. Bring the left hand right to the base of that tailbone. You could take the right hand outside of the knee and then start to twist. So if you're really mobile through your spine, you can obviously twist all the way around. That's perfectly fine. There are more advanced variations of this, but for the sake of today, we're going to keep it here because you're probably feeling a little stretch. Hopefully you're feeling a stretch through this left hip. Again, piriformis. And go ahead, come out of that. So we're going to do eagle. So I want you to just prop to on your knees. You can either sit on your knees, or if you need to, sit like so, because your knees don't care for being back on your heels. That's perfectly fine. Bring your right hand under your left elbow and then pull down. If this is too much, you can always grab the shoulders and then draw down. We're trying to draw your shoulders down as you're giving yourself a little eagle hug. This is a little hug with the arms. If you can do the double bind or the double wrap, great, go for it. And then pulling the shoulders down. Make sure you keep the abs drawn in. We're just going to go 5 more seconds, then we'll switch sides here. Keep pulling the shoulders down. Go ahead and release that. Do the other side. So now left arm underneath the right one. You can do the double bind, or you can just simply grab the shoulders. Both are effective. Again, meet yourself or meet your body where it is, not where mine is. This is my body. I can do this comfortably. If this is not you, fine. Double grab the shoulder and draw your shoulders down. Regardless, you are getting a stretch through the back of that rotator cuff, particularly on the right arm, since the right arm is the stretched arm. So pull the shoulders down. We're just going to go 10 more seconds on this side, and then we're going to do that seated spinal twist. So these little stretches here, while not the most intense thing in the world, they're actually releasing the same muscles you were kind of working when we were doing the curtsy lunge, as well as that internally rotated press. Go ahead, sit down. Let's cross the right over the left here first. We're going to twist to the right. So again, right over left, right hand in the base of the tailbone, and then go ahead, twist. If you can do it like this, that's fine. If you have a little more range of motion, you can certainly take that left elbow to the underside of the right knee, and then twist. Again, you're not collapsing back. It's an important thing. It's technical, but again, you need to try to sit forward on your sit bones as you draw those abs in. Let's go ahead and do the other side here. Just a quick little stretch. But as I was saying, these little twists are very complementary to the 2 exercises we were doing just a little while ago, releasing the same muscles we were also trying to activate with the curtsy lunge and with that internally rotated shoulder press. So hopefully you're feeling a little stretch at the back of the hip right now. If not, that's fine. If you got too much tension through the hips and low back and everywhere else, doesn't matter. Just try to get into the position, pull the abs in, sit forward on the sit bones, and twist. Again, if you're not getting the correct sensations, it's fine. In time, you will. As your body's mechanics improve, let's go ahead, bring onto your knees. Again, you can be on your heels if you will. Bring the right arm underneath the left, double bind or shoulder wrap, and then draw your shoulders down. So regardless of where you are, pull your abs in. Make sure the spine is extended. We're not rounding over. So nice and tall as you squeeze. If you're in a double bind, you're trying to squeeze the arms together. Or even here, you can still try to squeeze the arms together, but again, not rounding through the spine. It's really important. You want to stay nice and extended. Let's go ahead and do the other side. So now the right arm will be underneath the left. As you pull down, right arm, top arm is going to be the primary stretched arm, bottom arm, support arm. The way to think about this exercise, or remember this exercise, if you're ever doing an eagle, top arm is the primary stretched arm. Yes, your bottom arm is stretching as well, but you should feel a little more sensation right now on the right side. If not, also fine. Just try your best to hold the position as you pull the shoulders down. We're going to go just 5 more seconds here, and we'll grab those dumbbells once more. Go ahead, release that. Let's grab those dumbbells. We're going to be hinge at the hips, hold with the T-fly. This is another pretty tough block here. So we'll be holding isometric positions with the legs and then doing arm movement. So the first one here, draw the abs in, back almost parallel with the floor, T-fly. You'll notice my palms are facing down the floor the entire time, and so are yours. I did mention dumbbells, so please have dumbbells in your hands for this. This is pretty challenging, so if you fatigue over the course of a minute, no problem. There's no foul there. Just simply drop the weights and continue with the arm movement. Now, again, I'm showing you from a side profile here. You'll see that my arm is not extending back, and I'm staying high and wide. I don't have to go forward, but again, you want to have the arm in the same plane, or the hand in the same plane as the shoulder. And make sure that shoulder does not round forward and the thoracic spine does not extend. It's a little thing, but it's actually a big thing. This right here, this extended spine position with the shoulders depressed back and down, is working on the mobility of that thoracic spine, much the same as that shoulder press that we did earlier. So again, focusing on that thoracic extension because you're not going to round through the spine. And as you draw the arms up high and wide, they're not going back. Stay wide. Don't let the shoulders move forward. You got just 5 more seconds here. And then we have a split squat, a little shoulder press. Let's do one more. You got it. So standing with the left foot forward here first, hold a split squat position. Bring your arms up to the shoulders and shoulder press. This is going to be a pretty challenging minute here simply because we're holding this lunge position and then adding a shoulder press. Now, your back leg is probably a lot straighter than I'd like it to be, so I'm going to challenge you. Take your back knee from here and bend it. Yes, bend it. Should look like this. Perfect world, I would see about 90 degrees at your hip, your knee, and then that back knee as your spine is perfectly flat, tracking up that imaginary wall behind you. And by the way, your arms are also tracking with that wall as well. Keep your wrists straight, make sure the head is not coming forward, shoulders are down, draw the abs in as we move through the exercise. We just have 10 more seconds here. And then we got to switch legs, do a little different arm movement, but you're still going to be moving your shoulders. Let's do 2 more. 1. You got it. All right, so now bringing the right leg forward. Shoulder flexion this time. So complementary, but a little different. Keep the arms nice and straight. Draw the abs in. Likewise, bend your back left knee right now. Not straight. Bend it. I'm bending it with you. So why not join me? Challenge yourself a little bit. If that quadricep muscle is talking to you, good. That's what we want. As your arms flex up here, don't arch your low back. Don't let your head come forward. Remember that imaginary wall? Yes. Track that spine with that imaginary wall. When your arms are in this position right here, they're all the way back to that wall. Without your head coming forward. Pull your abs in, shoulders down. Draw those abs way in. We got one more arm movement with this little series. And also holding another isometric leg position. By the way, when you hold a position and you don't move, it's called an isometric. If you're ever wondering all these words I use isometric a lot, just simply means same length. You are not moving. So isometric for the legs, not moving those legs. Hold a sumo squat for me. Arms are going to be behind the thigh, draw the abs in, and then abduction, full abduction. So spine, same position as it was for the last several minutes, flat, and up against that imaginary wall throughout. Keep pulling those abs in. Let's sink down just a little lower. You don't have to go crazy low. I know you're feeling it. By the way, this series, this is tough. These are compound exercises, meaning they're using multiple muscle groups, and in our case, all the muscle groups. So your heart rate should be coming up quite a bit. Mine is, let alone having to talk through this, but that aside, it's still coming up. So I expect your heart rate to also be spiking. And with that being said, we got 10 seconds. So sink, yes, sink. You're gonna hold with me right here, really low in 3. Let's do one more. Draw those abs way in. Okay, yikes. Back over, start over. Hinge position, T-fly, here we go. So bring the arms up, squeeze the inner thighs together, pull the abs in. And making sure the head is not falling forward. So you're in that neutral position with your legs nice and straight. So your knees might be bent. Try to straighten them. Straighten the legs. You don't have to lock the knee, but straighten the leg. Now, straightening the knee, make sure that's not happening. Okay? So as you push the knee back, you still want to maintain that flat back. Perfect world, you'd be in about 90-degree position through the hip. If your low back and hips just aren't quite as mobile and you need to get up a little higher, that's fine. Just make sure that the arm stays nice and wide and we're not extending back. This is a different movement. It's not ineffective. It's just as effective. It just works different muscles. So right now, again, we're focusing on the back of the shoulder, the posterior side of the shoulder, and really the upper rotator cuff. And that's going to require you to keep your arm nice and wide in this position, as well as ideally a little more bent over to really isolate in on those targeted muscles I just mentioned. You need to draw the abs in. You got 10 seconds here. And lucky us, we get to hold those split squat positions. We'll do the left leg here first. Let's do one more. All right, left leg here forward first. Bend the back knee. I'll continue to show the side profile. Remember shoulder press. By the way, you're not on a tightrope. So feet are about hip width apart. I want you to be able to push through the heel of that front foot. So you could wiggle your toes, or you could even lift your toes. They don't have to be on the floor. Your heel needs to be on the floor. Pull the abs in. Keep the arms nice and straight. Full extension of the arms. 15 seconds, so we're going to sink down just a little lower. Draw the abs in. Let's really focus on making that back left quadricep muscle cry. Yes, cry. So why not sink down just a little bit lower with me for 5 more seconds here. Last one. You got it. Now let's bring the right foot forward, shoulder flexion. Bending the back knee, drawing the abs in. Nice and tall, nice and upright, keeping the arms nice and straight as we flex arms up. Now you'll notice my shoulders are down, so are yours. I hope they are. But with those down shoulders, your elbows are also straight too. You're not doing this. Fully extend and open those arms. Draw the abs in. Weigh in. Head and neck nice, long, lengthened, neutral position. Keep moving. Okay, you got 20 more seconds on this side. I'll tell you when we're going to sink. We're going to sink for the last 10 seconds on this side. Okay, sink. A little lower. Pull those abs away and just 10 seconds. You can do it. You're fine. You're fine. Come on. All right, 2 more. Abs in. Elbow straight. Last one. Squeeze your glutes together. Both of them. You got it. All right, sumo squat. Not quite finished yet. Sink nice and long. Perhaps you're going to go a little lower to start. Arms flex up. Keep the arms nice and straight as they flex up. Drawing the abs in throughout. Head, neck, nice, lengthened. You have a long neck. You want to exaggerate that lengthened neck. So don't let the head come forward. Work on posture. Even in exercises. Think of it this way. If you can get good at holding good posture in something as ridiculous as this exercise, well, challenging exercise, I should say. Maybe it feels ridiculous. If you can hold good neck, spine, shoulder, head, etc., posture while doing this, trust me, you can hold good posture when you're not. So challenge ourselves right now because it will pay dividends in the way we move and hold ourselves just in life. You got 5 more seconds, so whoa, sink. Yes, sink. Okay, we're gonna do one more. Abs in. Straight arms. You got it. Grab yourself a drink of water since I think that's warranted. And then we're gonna be on the mat. Okay, so kind of like where we started with the prone shoulder press, we've got prone flutters. This one's harder. So do your best. So we're gonna flutter our legs now with our arms. I'm gonna show you face on, bring your arms forward and begin. So ideally, you're basically just from the sternum to the hip with the thigh off the floor. Yes, your entire thigh is off the floor. If that's not you, that's fine. Also, upper thoracic spine would be extending off the floor as we're fluttering here. Ideally, it would look something like this. If this isn't you, that's fine. If you need to take breaks, that's also fine. Did I mention this was hard? It's really hard. So flutter. Now, point your toes. This is like that leg lift we did earlier when I asked you to point your toes. Same principles apply. So I don't have to rehash that. Just know that you're pointing your toes. Your arms are nice and straight. And you're painfully fluttering with me. But again, this is really good for your thoracic extension. Don't take my word for it. Just listen to your body. It's telling you, this is really good for my thoracic extension, even though it's really hard. So let's work on our posture. Let's work on our mobility. Hey, let's also work on our upper back strength. This also does that. And let's work on our leg strength and glute strength, et cetera, et cetera. So here we roll. We got 10 more seconds. Keep going with me. The next one's a bear hug. So yeah, you earned it. Almost there. One more. Okay. Bear hug. So flip over onto your back, bring your knees to your shoulders. We're just doing these 2 exercises in series, so take advantage of this minute because we're only here for 1 minute. And then we get to do the flutters again. But lucky us, we're only doing 2 rounds. I guess that's pretty normal, but it's good. Draw the knees in, pull your shoulders down. And if you want to grab the knees, that's perfectly fine with your hands. Or if you want a bear hug, that's also fine. Again, just make sure the spine is staying nice and flat with the floor. Shoulders down, draw the abs in. Whew, my heart rate is going crazy. That flutter is tough. So let's just get that heart rate to relax. I'm going to give you another 30 seconds. I'm nice. I'm giving you a minute and a half here. I think you earned it. Keep pulling the shoulders down. Slight tuck of the chin. Draw the abs way in. Way in. Seriously, draw your abs way in. That's going to release that lumbar spine. And then pull your shoulders down. Slight tuck of the chin. That's going to release your upper spine and neck. Just 10 more seconds here. Squeeze the shoulders. Draw the abs in. Okay, release. Let's do it again. Prone flutters, right into it. And don't jump into it. Please join me. Don't take another 10 more seconds. It's not me doing the exercise for my health. It's for your health. Join me and flutter. Now again, take this to fatigue. Please take this to obnoxious fatigue because I know you can get there with this one. With the arms, with the legs, with the upper back. Yes, I know it's hard. Keep going. Can you flutter for a full minute? I think you can. Just depends on your own determination. So why not join me for a full minute? Because I'm going to give you a full minute. So how about you join me for that full minute? Keep your arms nice and straight. By the way, you're not fluttering like this. I know this is still hard, but I need you to flutter with an extended arm. It's going to do 2 things. It's going to maximize the stretch, but at the same time, it's going to maximize the contraction of those muscles. Yes, it's harder. You're going to be stronger, but you're also going to be longer, lightened, and lengthened. Got just 10 more seconds here. And then we're already back to that bear hug. No one's quitting. Don't quit. Keep fluttering. You got 3 seconds. Don't quit. Keep fluttering. Okay, now you can quit. Bear. Flip over. Release. Bear should feel really nice. Well, aside from you not having to flutter anymore, which is nice, you're releasing the same muscles you just contracted. So that flutter is an entirely posterior chain exercise. Use that word a lot, posterior chain, but so many of the exercises I select when doing these videos, but also just in general training, is on the posterior chain. Posterior chain, think of it as the go muscles, not the show muscles. What gives you posture? It's not what's in front. It's not what you see. What gives you good posture is what's behind you. Well, you can't see that in the mirror, but it will give you good form when moving in life. So we want strong backs, strong back of the legs, strong back of the arms, etc., etc. So again, as obnoxious or as difficult as some of those exercises on the floor that I give you are, you do want to continue to improve them. And I would implore you to continue to do them regularly, multiple times a week even. Tuck the chin, draw the abs in, shoulders back and down. Keep pulling the knees in. We're going to go about 10 more seconds here. And then we're going to grab those dumbbells. So be in a seated position with a little L sit, T rotation. Go ahead, release that. So grab those dumbbells again. I'm going to show you from the side profile here right to begin. Sitting nice and forward on your sit bones. By the way, if you can't get into this position, bend your knees so your back can look like mine. I don't want your back looking like this. So sitting forward, bend the knees if you need to. Bring your arms to this T position, and then it's an external rotation via pulling or rotating the arm open. Make sure the elbow does not drop. Make sure the head does not move forward. You're trying to sit light on your sit bones. You're not sitting heavy on your sit bones. So pull the abs way in, diaphragmatic tension. Give it go all the way to that sternum is pulled in to maintain length through the lumbar and into that mid-thoracic spine. And then from here, we're going to engage the upper thoracic spine because you are externally rotating the arms without bending your wrists. Yes, even this one, don't bend your wrists. Keep those wrists nice and straight as you fully flex open the arm, sitting nice and light on the sit bones with your abs drawn in throughout. Keep rolling here. We got 15 more seconds on this one. Supine straight leg hold. Okay. We got 5 more seconds here. We'll be on our back. You're going to keep the dumbbells in your hands. And good. So on our back, bring your legs all the way up. Now this time flex your feet. So we're not going to point the toes. We're going to have our flexed feet. I already talked about this being a little more of a stretch to the back of the leg, and that's cool. Now with the dumbbells in your hand, we're going to do a full shoulder flexion and then 2 extension. By the way, when your hands are here, this is called extension of the arm. And when your arms come up, this is called flexion of the arm. Just FYI. Draw the abs in, slight tuck of the chin. Squeeze your legs together. Yeah, try to keep the knees nice and straight. I know they like to bend. You got to straighten them. Keep them straight. Flex those feet. Tight quadricep muscles. We got to strengthen these muscles here. So you can even pull down on the kneecaps or pulling like the kneecaps towards your hips. That'll engage those thigh muscles here as you flex these straight arms all the way back. We're going to take this to a down dog or a child's pose. So I'm going to give you 2 different variations. I know you know the child's pose. I'm going to do the down dog. Now, the reason I'm going to give you 2 different variations is some people were telling me that the down dogs just crush their shoulders. And as I was thinking about that, the reason, and I'll explain once I get into the exercise, is that the upper thoracic spine is not extending as much as ideal. Let's do one more here, and I'll talk more about that. Last one. You got it. So down dog, and by the way, down dog is the same mechanics you were just in on the floor. Hopefully you can start to kind of pick up on these exercises and how similar they are in terms of what I'm giving you with exercises. It's just I'm simply changing the position that you are relative to the floor. So here we are. If you look at the hips, it's much the same as it was a minute ago, but now in the down dog position. So if the front of your shoulders feel like they are just dying when I ask you to do a down dog, it's because your upper thoracic spine is not extending. So if I have a thoracic flexion, I'm exaggerating this, by the way. So this is flexion. If I am not good at learning how to extend my upper back, as I hold here, all the tension is thrown into the front of the shoulder. If it's overwhelming, then simply drop down so you can get into better extension. Child's pose can certainly help you with that. But as you improve that upper thoracic extension, and again, those prone shoulder presses, the flutter exercises we were doing, as your upper spine learns how to extend, hey, cat-cow, as you get better at those exercises and your mobility improves, when you're in this down dog position, you're able to extend the upper spine, but that's going to transfer that weight load from the front of the shoulder to the rotator cuff to the back of the shoulder. And by the way, if you can get into the full extension here, you can literally hold this forever. Now you might feel like a long way off from this, but ideally, if your spine has proper mobility through its upper thoracic, there is no pain in the front of the shoulder holding this. You feel tension focal point right here, and you actually feel a really nice stretch through the front of the shoulder and pec. And if that's not you, totally fine, but it's something that you can look forward to as you continue to improve that thoracic extension. We're going to go right back to the L-sit with T rotation. If that stuff doesn't make intuitive sense yet, it will if you continue to do these exercises routinely. Your body will improve the function and the way it moves through space. I promise you that. And if you've been pretty consistent about doing these videos, I actually imagine you've seen some pretty decent improvement through your thoracic spine and through your hips even, just simply because I've emphasized mobility so much through this video series. Anyway, keeping the abs in, nice and upright, nice and light on the sit bones, and your elbows are on the same plane as the shoulder. As we flex those straight, or not those straight arms, but as we flex and rotate arms open, so palms face forward. Please keep your wrists straight. I know they like to bend, but nope, no bending of the wrists. Keep moving here. We're going to go 10 more seconds. And then we've got that supine. Sit nice and forward, nice and light. Let's do one more here. You got it. So on our back, flex the feet. By the way, this is also the same position you were just in with the hips. So like I was saying, hopefully you can start to kind of pick up on how so many of these exercises, you're doing the same thing. I'm just changing how we are positioned in space. And that's important because, again, as you change how you're positioned in space, gravity down changes how the muscle is being torqued on and which muscles you have to contract to hold this hip position. Again, whether your legs are up or you're seated or you're in the down dog position. So keep moving here. Keep your arms nice and straight. Draw those abs in. Squeeze the inner thighs. Yes, your knees are straight. Please straighten your knees and your feet are flexed. Flex your feet more. Yes, please flex them more. Now straighten your knees even more. Straighten them more because I think you can. We're going to go 10 more seconds here. And then we're going to do that second round of the down dog. Keep pulling the abs in. Slight tuck of the chin for me. Yes, slight tuck of the chin. Let's do one more. You got it. Okay, full minute of down dog or child's pose. Again, whatever variation is for you, but again, we do ultimately want to be able to get into this down dog position without pain in the front of the shoulder. I'm giving you that child's pose modification simply because I don't want an exercise to be too agonizing where it feels like you're incompetent at doing it. So the variation or the alternative would be a child's pose instead of a down dog. But if you got a down dog with me, join, squeezing the shoulders back and down, and you're trying to extend your spine. So again, this is not flexion. We're trying to extend our spine in the down dog position. I do see a lot of people do a down dog incorrectly, and they do it because they have a lot of flexion. This isn't the stretch. So when you do a down dog, we're trying to stretch the front of the spine, the interior of the spine, at the same time as we're trying to contract the upper back. The more you flex over, the more opposite of what we're after occurs. So here we roll for the last 15 seconds here. Squeeze the inner thighs together, pull the abs way in, squeeze your shoulders back and down, and go ahead, come on, that nicely done. So we're going to be in a little butterfly position, a little stretch. This should feel kind of nice. So bring your feet, heels together, nice and close, and then go ahead. You're going to flop back, nice and open, and then just bring the arms back. So just relax here. Just let the knees naturally flop open. Relax your arms in this position. This is the first of 3 exercises that are very similar to each other. So just hang out here, arms nice and straight. Go ahead, straighten those arms a little more for me. And again, just let the knees naturally flop open. It's totally fine. Just let them, let's just release the inner thigh, the adductor muscles, and pull the abs in. Now again, I want to make sure that your low back is sitting nice and flat to the floor. You might have a tendency to want to arch the low back, particularly if the knees are abducting. This is abduction, the knees going out. Because the knees are going out, and the muscles do attach into that low spine. As those knees pull on the low spine via going out, they're going to arch the low spine. So you just need to be cognizant of that. So pull the abs way in, really way in, so you can maintain that lumbar flatness to the floor. So we're going to go 10 more seconds here, and then we're going to sit on our butt, but we're going to hold this arm position while trying to sit with this knee position. So let's go ahead and do that right now. So butterfly your legs. Again, bring them in as close as you can. They don't have to be all the way in, but pretty close. Sitting forward, sitting light on your sit bones, and holding the arms up. Holy cow, this is tough. We've not done this before. Do your best. If you need to bring your legs forward like this, so you can continue to arch the low back and we're not sliding back, that's perfectly fine. I don't want your back slouching. I need good form. We need good posture. So again, you are arching your back forward. Yes, your knees are going out. Like I was saying, when your knees go out, they pull on the low back. If the low back doesn't want to stretch, it's going to want to slouch in this. So abs in, diaphragmatic tension, pubic bone all the way up to that sternum. Try to sit light on the sit bones. If you can, if you have more mobility, great, bring the knees in. And then with those arms, draw them up, way up. And just hold. Yes, this is tough. You got 30 more seconds here. Continue to pull the abs in. Make sure that head is nice and lengthened position, not slouching through the back. Arching through the low back. If you need to let the legs go just a little bit so you can maintain a better neutral lumbar position, that's perfectly fine. Now, your feet are together, so see if you can actually squeeze your feet together. Yes, I know I just made that a little harder, but if you squeeze your feet together, it's going to help you actually come forward just a little bit more on that sit bone. That's what we want right now. And let's do child's pose, but this time we're going to do it with our knees separated. So I'm going to show you from here, separate the knees out, and then bringing the arms forward. By the way, all of these exercises are more or less the same, but just once again, changing the positions of how you are in space. So here we are. I'm trying to arch the low back, so we're not tucking our tailbone right now. You're actually trying to tilt your tailbone, sticking your tailbone up into the air as you extend through that spine, and then pushing the hips back. The idea is to get as flat as you can to the floor. If yours doesn't look like this, If you look more like this, that's also fine too. I can give you a modification, that's perfectly fine. Focus on the hips as your hips release. The hips go back, arch the low back, and then you start to draw the arms forward. By the way, this is a pretty challenging workout as a whole. The exercises, I would say, are a slight ramp up from previous weeks. So I wanted to give a nice challenging week here. So arch the low back, reach the arms forward, pull the abs way in. You got 10 more seconds here. We get to do it again. All right, just flip over onto your back, bring your feet together. So again, this one's really passive. The last minute was somewhat passive, but this one's really passive. The next minute where we're seated, that one is not passive. That one is uncomfortable, and that's okay. It's actually even quite difficult for me to hold that position when we get to the next minute. But for right now, low back nice and flat, tuck the chin, keep your arms to the floor. Try to have your arms nice and straight. I got a wall, it's kind of in my way, but if I didn't have the wall, I would straighten my arms and straighten my wrists, so you have space, so straighten your arms. Ideally, in a perfect world, your arms would almost be touching your ears with those elbows nice and straight, wrists nice and straight. And then you're just naturally letting the knees relax open without the low back arching. Highly technical, a lot of muscles attached to your spine, a lot of muscles pull on your spine. But even so, we want to maintain traction so that, again, you are getting release and releasing muscular tension along the spine, hopefully making movement, or not hopefully, but guaranteeing easier movement as you do you. Go ahead, come out of that. Let's go ahead, sit into this butterfly position on the legs. You're going to bring your feet in as much as you can. Now, this is hard enough as it is, just holding this position. I acknowledge that. This is not easy. And then I'm going to ask you to bring your arms up without arching through the back. We're not doing flexion. So extend the spine, don't mind the carpet, and sit nice and tall by a drawing of the abs in, way in, and the head back. Arms back, arms nice and straight. Continue to pull those abs in. We're trying to still sit light on the sit bones. I know you might feel like you're really heavy in this position, and that's because you have a lot of tension. Another way you can think about lengthening a muscle, it's actually going to cause like a lightness sensation. And so that's also another good reason why we want to continue to improve on our mobility, is to actually start to feel lighter, because the muscle isn't as tight and it doesn't torque on the joint quite as hard. It releases, and you don't feel that tension. That tension has a sensation of like weight, of heaviness. So let's get rid of that. And we actually get rid of it through holding these uncomfortable isometrics. So here we roll for the last 10 seconds or so. Draw the abs way in, arms back, arms nice and straight. Hold. And you got it. Let's do that modified child's pose with the knees separated here. Bringing the arms forward. Again, tilting. So focus on the hips. Tilting forward as the arms reach forward, and then just simply drawing the hips back as you hold this position. Again, here for a minute. Get upper thoracic extension, not flexion. We're trying to extend the spine. It's been kind of a recurring theme here today. I focused a lot on upper thoracic extension. Push the hips back, tilt the hips forward. Don't take it to pain, by the way. If this is really, really, really bugging you, please come out of it. I don't want you to feel it as your attachments. So towards the groin, if you feel like the muscles are absolutely screaming, you need to back off. So come out of it a little bit further. Please don't ever take a stretch to pain. That's how you will get tendonitis. That is a guarantee. So your stretches should be a 4, maybe a 5 at absolute most on the stretch sensation. 10 would be like I'm dying. I can't deal with it. 4 is just, it's mildly irritating. And that's kind of where you want to be. And you also want to be able to relax into a mildly irritated muscle. But you can't relax if it's like 8s and 9s in terms of tension and pain. There's no way you're going to be able to get your nervous system to settle and relax. And that's actually going to be the opposite of what we're after. It's going to further tighten your muscles and potentially actually cause more tension within the body. So again, stretching is it's a fine line thing. It's a very much a finesse thing. Let's go ahead and hop to our feet here. We're going to grab our dumbbells. We got just one more quick series. This is going to actually snap pretty quick. So it's just a left leg lunge. Hands at sides. We're just going to lunge to finish. So that's how we're going super fast. Here we roll, bending the back knee, just up and down. Again, hands at sides with those dumbbells in hands. Focus on nice form here, full range of motion. Trying to get the back knee to bend and hopefully approach the floor. You don't have to touch the floor, but if you can, yeah, that's cool. Just make sure we're not falling forward in that process of lunging down. You still want to be pushing through the heel of the front foot here as we're doing our lunges, not falling forward, just nice and upright. Abs in throughout, head, neck, nice and tall position. Toes facing forward. Bending the back knee. Bending the back knee to make your back quadricep muscle talk to you, because I'm sure it is saying something. Mine is, hopefully yours is. Bending the front knee and then squeezing the glute of the front leg to push yourself out of the bottom of that lunge. So right here, squeeze the glute. Use that glute to push yourself up. You got 5 seconds on this side. That was a quick minute. Let's do one more. You got it. Now the other side. Right leg forward, bend the back knee, up and down. Easy is, easy does. We're just going to finish these lunges here. So nice little 4-minute block. I think you can lunge for 4 minutes. Yeah, I know it feels like a long time when you're actually on exercise, 4 minutes. Holy cow, of lunging. But it'll go fast, hopefully. Keep moving. We're already halfway through this minute. Keep coming down, again, pushing through the heel of the front foot. Bend the back knee so you can feel that quadricep muscle stretch. That's just as important as you feeling the right glute activate. So strengthen the right glute right now with me. You get to that bottom position, squeeze the right glute. Squeeze it hard. Squeeze it really, really, really hard. Stand back up. Get through the heel of that front right foot. We got 10 seconds on this side. Keep moving. Try not to have the front knee track too far forward, so it's not looking like this as you're going down. It's just straight down. Okay, well, the other side. Left side forward here first. Halfway through this final block already. I think we got this. I'm confident. Just keep lunging. Try not to pause. Time under tension. This is all muscular tension, muscular endurance. Good stuff. Let's get that lactic acid built up. Actually, there's a lot of benefit to lactic acid within the muscle and all the byproducts that occur in terms of just metabolic things, glucose things, muscle burn, good for glycogen, meaning it'll actually allow you to consume a couple more carbohydrates in your day without turning those into fat, because you're depleting the sugar from your muscles. And that's actually what you can think of as the burn. A little more complicated than that, but when your muscles burn, you are depleting glycogen. Glycogen is sugar, and will allow you to eat a little more sugar to restock into the muscles. No, it's not a permission to eat like, I don't know, a pie, but you get the idea. Go switch sides, bending the back knee, or a whole pie, I should say. You can have your slice. You can have part of your cake and eat it too, not the whole cake. All right, keep going here. Push through the heel, bend the back knee, squeeze the right glute, bend the back knee, squeeze the right glute, pull the abs in, head and neck nice and tall, hands at sides, up and down. I got 30 seconds here. We're gonna finish this together. Don't stop. Don't stop. Just keep going. Keep going. You got 15 seconds. You can lunge for 15 more seconds. I know your legs are talking to you. Mine are. So are yours. Keep going. We're almost there. Okay, 5 seconds. How about 2 more? And 1 more. And that's a day. Thank you. Thanks for joining me today. I just want to make an announcement. Today will be my last day of the video series. This is 12 weeks. So there's lots of content that I have produced. I think first 7, 8, 9 weeks, there were 2 videos each week, and then the last several I've done 1. So I will continue to do the park workouts, and I would encourage you to join me on a Saturday or a Sunday. Kind of plan that week to week at this point, just depending on weather. But as of for now, I am good with these workouts. Hopefully you are too. I'm going to keep them on the YouTubes, so feel free at any time to peruse. And if you're ever needing a workout, certainly use that. But at this time, instead, I just encourage you to get outside and enjoy the weather. And that's certainly what I'm going to be doing moving forward. So thanks again. And hopefully we'll see a couple of you this weekend on Saturday. Thank you.